Hey everyone, it's Jason. We have another Boss Monster expansion, Crash Landings. This is the expand your game up to 5 to 6 players because it adds enough room cards and hero cards and all that stuff. It's not a standalone game. You have to add it to one of those, to one of the base sets. And I think this may have came out before Boss Monster 2 came out. So essentially, though, if you mixed Boss Monster 1 and 2, you could probably make that into a 5 or 6 player game. But this allowed you to add it in there anyhow. This is also themed around, has some new stuff. It has new treasure types, as well as it's like alien sci-fi themed. So let's look at our instruction quick. I love how they keep reusing some of these arts from different things. So, like, this picture has been in several different packaging. So, here's Crash Landing. Eventually, it's Crash Landing the Arcadia, bringing the new bosses to vie for the souls of the land's heroes and bring new players to the table. Introduces new treasure type. Increases the maximum from 4 to 5 or 6. So the new treasure type adds a 5th treasure type called the Alien Artifact, which is like a ray gun, and the Intrepid Explorers. Explorers can recover, their artifacts. So this also has the Uncover effect. A room is uncovered when a room above it is destroyed or when it is moved to the top of the room stacked by another effect. So we got that in Boss Monsters 2. So this must have came right before that. Victory condition changes just slightly if you play 5 to 6 players. Is instead of losing by 5 damage, you only the game ends when one person hits 10 souls. But then you subtract how much damage you have. So someone could rush out and get 10 souls right away, but if they've taken 5 damage, they have a score of 5. Versus someone else could have had, only 7, souls but only taking 1 damage. They would have a score of 6. So that's definitely interesting. And then it changes to the bait phase. So in a 2 to 4 player game, if the monsters, if there's your hero is a fighter type, and each player only has 1 fighter type, it stays in there. This works the same way. But if there was happened to be 2 fighters in the town, in a 2 to 4 player game, they would always stay there and they keep building up. 5 to 6 player, if there's at least if there's more than 1 hero in town that has shared icons but they can't move, they'll split each dungeon as best as they can. And that's just so that you're not bogging up, because you're drawing 1 card per player already. So if you're playing 2 player, you're drawing 2. If you're playing 6 players, you'd have 6 heroes. And the idea is just all of a sudden so 6 plus heroes aren't jumping into someone's dungeon right away. Alright, so now we're going to look at the new types. So here, these are all Explorer types. I believe that's all they have in here are Explorer type stuff. Yep, so that's why it makes this a really good expansion, because all the cards in here are going to add enough, probably like roughly the same equivalent as one of the other colors or other treasure types. Until you start mixing all these other different expansions, it might not have that. But if you just add it to a base game, it's just adding another class type. So here we have Imperatrix, Queen of the Ooze, so kind of like a brood alien queen type character. And they have their little spaceship icon. Level up. For the rest of the game, rooms in your dungeon have +1 for each ray gun they have. I'm going to call it ray gun instead of alien artifact. Here we have Klonos, alien metamorph, so it's copying the other guy. Choose another boss for the rest of the game. This boss also has that boss's level up ability. The ability remains even if that boss dies. And then it has 175, so it's really weak on its XP. Then we have Mango, the stellar archaeologist. I'm not sure what that's necessarily a reference to. You may bring one covered room to the top of the room stack in each opponent's dungeon. Well, that's cool. That's a neat ability. Okay, that's so we just get 3 of them. It looks like. And then right away we have what goes right with mangoes. We have the alien excavator. So this is a trap room. So when you build this room, you may move one covered room in your dungeon to the top of its stack. And we got 2 of those. Alien ooze. If you have at least one other room in your dungeon, give this room plus 1. Note that bosses do not count as rooms. So even though they have a treasure type, they do not count as a room. The decoy garden. When you build this room, until the end of the turn, it gains an extra 2 ray guns. That's kind of cool. Help you get there. It's really weak, but the Frostman Lander. That platform reminds me of Samus and Metroid. The little up and down elevators. When you discard this room from your hand to deactivate, you may discard this room from your hand to deactivate an advanced dungeon, an advanced room in any dungeon until the turn. Awesome. I like frost cards are always the same. The invasion swarm. I want to say centipede. Is that right? I think this is centipede. That's not right. Invaders. That's what I'm looking for. Rooms adjacent to this have +1. And then there's a second one where they all moved down. And then there's a couple missing. The reactor core. Because what would a spaceship be without a reactor core? Advanced rooms in your dungeon have +1. And then we're going to get to some of those advancements. We have the Digicron Library. When you build this room, if you have at least one other advanced room in your dungeon, including this one, draw 2 spell cards. I think there's 2 copies of that. Alright, so you get some extra. The Hypercube, based off the movie The Cube. You may build this room over any room, regardless of treasure type. If you've not seen the Cube, which this is based off of, essentially it's this sci-fi movie where people get trapped in these rooms, and it's like a room of traps. They go into the next room, it may be a trap and may not be. And then the rooms are constantly shifting around. It's a really interesting movie. They've had like 2 sequels, which are all interesting in their own right, and they try and combine like into like one overall plot. It sort of works. Then we have the Omega 42. Once per turn, when you discard an advanced room to activate one, Once per turn, you may discard an advanced room to activate one when you build this room or when you uncover this room effect in your dungeon. Well, that's neat. So it gets you an extra little bonus there. Alright, then we have the universal ones. Now this is going to be old treasures with the new ones, so it kind of mixes those. We have a crash site. When you uncover this room, search the discard pile for an advanced room card and add it to your hand. The only thing that's kind of odd about these is because they don't really have that theme of, like, they don't have pictures that always seem like they're left to right in the new rooms. Some of them do, some of them don't. Like this obviously looks like it's kind of like inside of a cave and there's a metal, so it kind of looks like that excavator part. Like maybe it combines something like that. Like the outside of the ship you're gonna enter. Here we have Cage Gunfire Monster Room. When you uncover this room, till the end of turn, its damage is doubled, and there you can see him escaping or poking his head through the electric. The Celestial Map. When you uncover this room, draw a spell card, then destroy this room. Look, we've uncovered the map. Boom. This reminds me of Star Wars, like R2D2 and BB-8, and then cover the map. I don't know if that was what the reference is for. Then we have Darkling Lair. When you uncover this room, deal 3 damage to a hero in your dungeon, or the entrance to your dungeon. And they're little darkness kitties. Alright, then we have a bunch of... So I'm not sure why this set, numerical order, they have the spells after the heroes. But we're going to do the spells first, because that's what we've done in all the other ones. Finish him. Mortal Kombat reference. Kill a hero with 2 or less health. Or, if you have fewer souls than any other player, choose a hero that survived another player dungeon and move it to your scorekeeping area face down. Nice. Essence Transfer. This is a Zelda, or not Zelda, Metroid reference. Add X hearts to a hero where in the opponent's dungeon where X is equal to the number of wounds you have. Oh no. Oh, the healing tank. With the mother brains, kind of like in Metroid. Also, Dragon Ball Z reminds me of the healing tanks. If no other heroes were lured into your dungeon during the bait phase, heal 1 ordinary wound. That's kind of cool. Meteorite. Choose 1 room in any dungeon until the end of the turn. It gains a ray gun. Not Dead Yet. Do X damage to each hero at your dungeon, in your dungeon, or at the entrance of your dungeon, where X is equal to the number of wounds you have. And there's a second one of those. Alright, now we can do all of our heroes. The Prince. So these, I don't know why these are in weird orders. So this is only good for 5 players plus. This hero is lured into the dungeon of the player with the fewest souls minus wounds. After the prince becomes a wounded soul, the player whose dungeon he went to may draw 2 rooms, 2 spells, or 1 of each. So it's kind of like the Fool, but only a little bit better because he actually does something for you. Then now we have our Explorer heroes. Crash Dodgers, like Crash Rogers. Hailing from a small blue planet in the galactic backwater, Crash has long been the bane of the alien bosses. On Arcadia, he sees his chance to end their reign of terror once and for all. Corbin Crichton, an interstellar taxi driver who took 1 too many lefts at the Grand Wormhole. He is now looking through the wreckage of the crash landing for a possible way home. This is Corbin Dallas from The Fifth Element. Tamatha, shape-shifting squidopod. Tamatha's braves crash site again and again looking for the Omega 42, a legendary weapon that might free her people from their greatest mistakes. I'm sorry. I'm not sure who this is supposed to be. Probably, I'm going to guess a Star Trek reference, but I'm not for sure. Lingo Collery, wanted space vampire, failed ambassador, incubated gambler. Lingo had any number of reasons to flee Arcadia, but one great secret that makes him want to find his way back. This is obviously a reference to Lando Calrissian from Star Wars, but the hair like that also, I don't know his name, but there's a Star Trek character, I think in Next Generation, that has hair like that. And I wonder if it's something referencing to that. Doug Oshiba, the ace pirate. Doug has demonstrated his heroism so frequently that he is most famous starfighter in his galaxy. Obviously, Star Fox. Fox McCloud. Is it Fox McCloud? He's not called Star Fox, it's just this game. But that's actually a reference to. Guy the Red Robe. IT support for a clan of saber-wielding space monks. IT did not understand why he had to go on this away mission. So this is like a Jedi, because there's a like lightsabery wrench. and like space monks, but I also feel like the red robe is a reference to Star Trek with red coats. Or red shirts, sorry. Red shirts that die all the time. Here we have our epic heroes. We have Andromeda James. This intrepid wormling has burrowed into the galaxy's darkest crypts looking for lost relics, but tales of Crystal Skeleton lost in the crash landing have brought him to Arcadia. This is clearly Indiana Jones and Earthworm Jim. I love how they're combining a bunch of these. Morgan Fragman. Morgan is a man of many talents, soldier, master chief, chef, interdimensional physicist. He entered Arcadia through a strange portal, and now all he wants is way home. So, this is clearly a reference to Halo with Master Chief. So he's a master chef. And Morgan Freeman from... Oh, why does my brain not remember what this game is? It has head crabs, and I can't think of what the name of the game is. Everyone always jokes about it, how there's not a third one coming. Half-Life, there we go. Oh boy, that was gonna break me if I didn't think of that. Bonanza Barb, intergalactic gang of all trades. Bonanza Barb leads a ragtag group of cavaliers in a never-ending war to kick invaders out of Arcadia. I'm not for sure what that's a reference to. Aelf. Orbital spaceman Aelf couldn't save the world from the Frostmen, but by Melmax, he swore he'd protect his planet. As long as his trusted saber cat Havex was by his side. This is a reference to Elf, the Alien TV show, and the blue and yellow is a reference to Fallout. So that's funny. Like, you have different references. And then now we have the kings. We've had the prince, the king, the brothers, the princess. So during the bait phase, each player may vote to determine where the king is lured. If the vote is a tie, the king stays in town. Interesting. Yeah, so that's, I want to look at this one again. Bonanza Barb. I'm not sure, because it has like a staff, kind of guitar. I'm not sure. I'll have to maybe look, see if there's something like on the internet that explains who some of these are. So I might have to do like a reference video after I get done through all these. So that's Boss Monster Crash Landing. Adds some definite new interesting stuff. All the heroes, they follow the same exact thing. Like, so I'd say you can just slot this in any deck. They do show like the heroes are only supposed to be played for 5 or more players, so 5-6 player game. I really don't see why you couldn't include them in mix them with any of the boss sets. The only thing would happen is if you're only playing like a 2 or 3 player game, adding one more treasure type is going to be that much harder to pull them out. Also, if you mix like a bunch of the expansions and everything together, you're probably going to want to play a 5-6 player game. Or figure out how to adjust the rules so that you get cards easier. But yeah, that's that. So definitely, if you're looking for some new creature types, some new bosses, some new monsters, this would be one to pick up. But if you don't really want to add the additional thing, again, to really play with more players, you could probably skip this one. See you guys later. Bye.